Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be addressing the 2026 cost of living adjustment. This is the second video that I'm making. If you didn't see the first one, go ahead and check it out. And the purpose of this video is to try and help break down people's benefits so that they understand them better, right? That's the ultimate goal that I'm trying to do with this and serve my subscribers, is to help them break down their benefits just in case they need some kind of clarity or something like that is really the aim of this video. So again, thank you again for watching, and I want to start by saying I hope this video helps you kind of see some things here. So we're on Medicare.Gov or CMS.Gov, which stands for Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, right? So this is the official announcement as of November 14th of 2025, what the premiums and things like that are going to be looking at for Medicare Part A and Part B. I do have another video about Medicare, helps break it down, but essentially Medicare Part A is your hospital inpatient coverage and Medicare Part B is your supplemental coverage. So like when you go to the, if you go do a checkup or something like that and you go to a local doctor and you have like a copay, things like that, right? That's the supplemental part of it. So for a lot of people, I would say the overwhelming majority of people on Medicare, their Medicare Part A is free, and it would be free if you have 10 years of work history. If you have less than 10 years, then you're going to be paying Medicare Part A premiums. That's another video that I covered, so go ahead and look in the, I believe it's in a playlist for Medicare, where I break that down and kind of explain those things, and if your aim is to try and get it free. Medicare Part B, everybody pays for. In some way, shape, or form. Some people are on Medicaid, and maybe the state helps them if they're in, meet certain criteria in that way. But if you don't have Medicaid and you're on Part B, you're likely paying for it. Some people have third-party plans that kind of change things. I won't get into that because that's between them and their provider, or their carrier, I should say. So if you have any questions about that and how that might change, you would want to talk to them directly. So officially, if you call Social Security, don't even waste your time because they're going to tell you the standard premium is what we're going to cover here in just a second. So again, jumping back to Medicare, it looks like there is an increase of $60 if you're admitted. Let me see, Medicare Part A inpatient hospital deductible that beneficiaries pay if admitted to the hospital will be $1,736 in 2026, which is a $60 increase from 2025, which was previously $1,676. Okay, and then let's go to the big one here. Everybody pays for. I would say pause if needed, or even go to CMS.gov. I don't want to kind of go over all, just pause the video as needed. Here's a nice chart giving you the breakdown of costs and coverage and things like that. I would certainly go to Medicare.gov if you have serious questions about, if maybe you have a big procedure or something coming up that you're going to be in the hospital for, you might want to check that out. I'd say maybe the biggest thing to look at here in this chart is going to be the skilled nursing facility. So anybody who has maybe, like a parent or maybe a grandparent, this is probably some information you want to know if they're in a skilled nursing facility. But the big one is Medicare Part B. A lot of people, including myself, had predicted to be $206. I was just going off of other media outlets, but it seemed like everybody was saying it was going to be $206, and it's $202.90, an increase of $17.90 from $185 in 2025. All right. I will be doing another video on the IRMAA surcharges and things like that. Again, if you don't know what IRMAA is, I did a previous video breaking down the entire thing. So if this is your first year on Medicare and maybe you're getting along with, here's what your Part B premium is going to get, right, which is a letter that everybody should be getting. Some people are going to be affected by that surcharge in 2026. So they'll be getting a second letter now. Make sure you expect that probably sometime within the next 3 to 4 weeks, you should be getting a letter about your Medicare Part B in 2026 and if you're going to be impacted by IRMAA or not. So if you get that second letter talking about an IRMAA surcharge and a higher Medicare premium, go check out my other video on IRMAA and completing the SSA 44 and making sure really what it is that you understand the kind of the terms and definitions that are mentioned in that form and what it means to have a reduction of income and a life-changing event. Those are the two biggest things that get explained in that video, so certainly go check it out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to a graph that I threw together here. I meant to have it right, cost of living adjustment, but I wrote it adjusted. But please forgive me. But in 2025, let's use this easy example where you're just somebody, you have Social Security benefits, and you have Medicare Part A and Part B. Medicare Part A is for you. Medicare Part B has the premium, and then what your deposit is and how it can change. Things that you want to consider too. So it's really just a deduction box. So even though this says Medicare Part B, if let's say you have tax withholding that you do, maybe you have a third-party plan, maybe you have a garnishment of some kind, whether it's a student loan, child support, something like that, those things can impact your benefits. They're very real, and they happen too. I wouldn't say it's uncommon. But in this example, I just try and keep it as easy as possible. Let's say that you were in 2025, your gross SSA benefit before any deductions was $1,000, right? So this is the payment that gets issued. Then you have deductions, right? So in this case, let's say that you were only paying $185 for Medicare Part B. That means that your payment that got deposited into your account that becomes the final, it's your money at that point, was $815. So after consideration of a 2.8% cost of living adjustment and the increase of Medicare Part B going into 2026, let's take a look at the numbers. You can see that it's $1,028 now that you have. Medicare Part B was $202.90. So your total deposit into your bank account was $825.10. Right? So how do we consider the difference? We take what 2026 will be minus 2025. That means that you had an adjustment of $10.10. There is a Social Security policy that some people, their check gets rounded down to the nearest, kind of cent or whole number, I think they might mention. But essentially, let's say a $10 adjustment is what you end up getting after the cost of living adjustment. So this is just a little chart I threw together to try and help provide some clarity, hopefully, to some people. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to pretty much cut it right there, but I certainly hope you were able to get something out of this to help, kind of give you that clarity of what you were looking for. Maybe you need to, if you do have those third-party plans, make sure you communicate with them. If you were to contact Social Security and ask them anything about your third party, they're really not going to be able to answer it because that's between you and a private insurance carrier. So if you have changes in your insurance coverage, maybe changes in your plan, changes in your carrier or your provider, whoever it might be, that's something that you would want to address with your insurance company. And I say that only so you don't sit on the phone for 2 hours just to get told that by SSA. They have no control over those things. Some people they pay out of pocket for their third-party plan. Some people's third-party plan will send stuff to Medicare so that their premiums are taken out of their Social Security check. Even if that's you, Social Security can do nothing about that. They have that. It's really something happening between your carrier and Medicare, but really it's your carrier that would be the only one to make the change. I think even if you called Medicare, there's not really much they can do about that because the carrier is likely following whatever Medicare's procedure are. Not to say that mistakes can't happen, but anyway, I digress. So again, I hope you were able to get something out of this video and enjoy it. If you're getting an IRMAA notice, please check out my older video on IRMAA and how it can help. A ton of people have gotten help from it where they either say that saved a bunch of time or helped answer a question on the form that was simple, and they wanted that clarity. So I certainly hope it helps. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. If you want me to talk about something else, I'll put a link to Medicare.Gov in the description below. I'll even put a link to the old video. I probably should have said that first, but I'll put a link to the old video in there for IRMAA in case you need to fill out the form and things like that. All right.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your bell notifications so that you're always notified whenever I'm posting new content. If you have a question or want me to cover another topic, please leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to address it as soon as possible. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day.